Hey everybody, I'm Garrett, and welcome to Black Urban Farms. We have a straw bale garden going, and I'm going to show you how we got there. First thing is I'm going to ask my camera woman slash wife to turn around and take a look at that hay. So we started out with a bunch of hay bales, probably about 6. This is our 7th one. And so this hay, actually it's not hay, it's straw. And there's a major difference. The hay contains lots of seeds, grass pieces, and if left alone, hay by itself will grow into a giant chia log. This is straw, and it's pretty devoid of any kind of seeds, any kind of real nutrients. And later I'm going to show you how we put some nutrients back into this. Okay, so our first thing is we started with our hay bales. So as you can see here, they're all kind of lined up. Come on in. And what I've done here is we started lining these up, and then we figured out that if once we start planting in them, they're probably all going to go. So we ended up building these boxes. Now this construction is just real simple. We just got some fence board here and some simple 2x4s and some 1x2s, and we end up getting some wired welding fence or welded wire fence, and we wrapped this bad boy all the way around because here at Urban Black Farms we have possums and raccoons and critters, so we wanted to make sure that whatever we grew in here was going to be protected from our nighttime friends who like to eat up our stuff. Okay, so after we constructed this, underneath here, you can't really see right now because these bales are wet and heavy, but on the bottom, after we built these boxes, underneath we lined it with black plastic for a couple of reasons. Number one, to stop the weeds underneath from coming up and growing through our bales. And number two is that we wanted to conserve some of the water inside because there's a watering process, and you know, we're in drought season here in Cali, so we're like, yo, we need to save some water. So how do we do that? We put the liner underneath, put the bales back in, and then started a process of conditioning the bales or fertilizing them. So take you over here to my fertilizer box. It's real fancy. This is my fertilizer box. This is a mixture of organic fertilizer and generally used mixture of a couple of different kinds of fertilizer, and I can get into that at another piece, but it's a mixture so that I have more nitrogen in the mix and an even balance of what's called phosphate and an even balance of what's called potash or potassium. So the reason why you want to have a nice even mix is so that you're getting nutrients to the hay, which is going to feed the roots of whatever you're planting. Not to get super technical, but it's good to use fertilizer because you really need to have a base for your plants to grow in. So every other night I dump about a cup of this fertilizer mix onto the hay bale, and then I water it every other day. So come back over here. I'm going to show you real quickly how this looks. So as you see, I have already actually done some of it this morning, but you know, it's not going to hurt. I'll do half a cup. I fill this whole cup up with the fertilizer. And I take this and I just kind of spread it out here on the hay. Spread it all out. And I make sure there's a nice even coat, right? Now I do this every other day, and I make sure that I water it. The reason why I water this is because the temperature inside of these straw bales are going to heat up to somewhere between 105 and 120 degrees. So you want to make sure that there's water on it, right? Because you don't want to burn down your house. That would make my wife pretty upset, I think. So I water this down, and we have access to, we have excess water here at our house. So it takes us forever to heat up our water. And so we end up filling up buckets of water. And so we were like, well, we should save this water and use it. So we ended up getting a couple of trash cans, and we kind of pour whatever excess water we have in the house in these trash containers. And we just put a basic sump pump in there. This is a 3rd horsepower sump pump. Dropped it in there. And I keep my plug over here so that it doesn't get wet. So we're super fancy. Plug that in. So as you can see, the sump pump is drawing the water up into this hose.
Just a regular garden hose, right, babe?
Just a regular garden hose. And then we water it with this excess water that we use. So we're trying to not only conserve the water that we are using in every way possible. So this is an extension of that. So the whole area that I've laid down with fertilizer, I really want to push down into the hay, into the straw, so that it seeps itself down to the bottom. So this is going to condition the bale, get it all ready for our plantings.
How long does it take to condition the hay? How long will you do this process of fertilizing and then watering before they're ready for planting?
This process will go on for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks on and off with fertilizer, and I start out with a full cup for about half of that time. And then I'm going to decrease to about half of that amount. So I'm going to drop that level real low, eventually to no fertilizer at all, and just watering it. So in about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, we'll be ready for planting. And right now we're at about day 6 in that process. So we're going to be ready to plant real soon, and I'm super excited to show you guys the next step here at Black Urban Farms. Peace.